Thanks everyone for coming along today. And thanks Sarah for organising this, doing all the registrations and making sure the time zone's right. We are just after 3:30 in Western Australia. Just before I start, I'd like to acknowledge the land that I'm working on today, the land of the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and I pay my respect to their elders, past and present. As Sarah said, I'm a former teacher and I currently work with schools, helping them use technology to enhance learning, improve productivity, communication, and all of the great things that you can do with technology. This session is really going to focus on one aspect of AI. We can't cover absolutely everything. And I think what's quite exciting about the tool we're going to look at today is that it is free for staff to use in schools. It's part of your Microsoft licensing, and there's some really great security and privacy features built in, but that doesn't stop all the amazing creativity and time-saving features that are available. So if you have any questions or comments as we go through the day, feel free to put them into the chat or Q&A. It's not a day, is it? It's going to be probably 45 minutes, so don't worry too much about my language. I get excited sometimes. Okay, so what are we going to do in today's session? We're going to talk very quickly about what AI is. There's lots of different flavors of AI, and we're going to be focusing today particularly on generative AI. So I'll talk a little bit about what that is. We're going to have a look at Bing Chat's features, and we're going to look at how you can design effective prompts. So that is, how can you actually get the best out of this tool? Like any tool, you can get some basic use out of it, but if you figure out how it works and what are the best ways of interacting with it, you can really get some quality results that will really save you time and help you be more effective and maybe more creative in some of your tasks. Okay, so very quickly, we are currently using what's known as GPT-4 in today's session, and this just came out in the middle of this year. So many of the people on this call today will have first heard about ChatGPT maybe November last year. This was when it was kind of went mainstream and was available for the public to use. And at that time, it was using GPT-3, which was trained on 175 billion bits of data. And you can see just how much bigger the information that's available to GPT-4 today. So you can see the growth just in that's less than half a year. So I'm sure things are going to improve and change and adapt really quickly. So as we go through today, you'll see some enhancements and some changes. But give it a try, see how you get on, and I think you'll find it very useful. It'd be great just to find out how people have been using AI. So if you do want to share anything about any useful tools you've used or how you use AI in your role as an educator or a school leader or an IT technician in your school, feel free to just share that in the chat if you'd like to. But because of the limited amount of time, I'm just going to go on and show you some of the ways that I've used it, and I've seen it used pretty effectively in schools that I've worked with. I'll give you some real examples of how I've used it recently and some ways that I've helped schools. So just to really go right back to the basics, what is artificial intelligence? So in a simple definition, it's the ability of a computer or machine to perform activities that are normally thought to require intelligence. So we don't really have intelligent computers or intelligent robots, but they can sometimes give that they can kind of look intelligent by the way that they've been trained and by the algorithms and so on that they use. So there's different types of artificial intelligence. There's stuff you would have encountered in banking or in health or in online shopping. There's different types of artificial intelligence, but the one that we're going to be focused on today is generative AI, or AGI. It's got different names depending on where you come across it. But this is a type of artificial intelligence that creates new stuff. So it generates new things. They might be text, like you get with ChatGPT, or images, like you might have heard of DALL-E or Midjourney, those sorts of things. Also, you can now create videos, music, all sorts of things. So anything that's kind of been trained on existing data and can generate new data by being given inputs. That's what we're looking at today, generative AI. So we're going to use a tool called Bing. This is available to anyone via the web browser or via mobile apps. It's Microsoft's search engine, but it's been enhanced with different generative AI capabilities over the last year. So, for example, you can do basic web searching. So it searches across the web, but what it does now is it uses kind of a more intelligent way of searching, and you can refine your answers. That's one of the things that I like about this. So if I'm just searching for particular information, maybe about a historical character or an event in the past, I'll just type it in plain English, I'll get a result, and then I'll drill down into it. So I might want some first person accounts of something that happened in the 1950s, or I want to know when was the first time this certain scientific phenomenon was seen, and I can drill down into that. So that's something that's been difficult to do with traditional search engines. But it will also summarize the responses based on my questions and my needs. So I might ask a question, I can then refine it, and we'll talk a little bit about how you can refine those questions as we go through. It also provides links to all the sources. So currently, depending on the setting you use, Bing currently uses GPT-3 or 4, and it also will link to wherever it's found results that corroborate what it's found on the web. So you always get a lot of references that you can cross-check as well. And the other thing that Bing can do now is, let me just move my head out the way, be creative. So you can now use Bing to create poems or write plays, design images, change photographs that you've shared. So all of those sorts of things it can do as well. And we'll look at some of those examples today. What I really like is that ability to follow up with Bing. So I'll ask it something and I'll say, can you explain that in simpler terms? Or if I'm working with a class, I'll ask it to explain it for 6-year-olds, or explain it for 12-year-olds, or refer to the SCARSA year 8 curriculum. And it goes and finds out what the SCARSA year 8 curriculum is and rewrites its answer with vocabulary from there. So it's really good at kind of bringing in lots of different sources that you give to it. Give me more options. So it might give me some information, and it suggests follow-up questions that might be useful. Can you display that in a table and sort it from highest to lowest? I was working with some students last week on the different sizes of birds in Western Australia. And then we got it to put it in a table. It listed things in inches, so we asked it to rewrite it in centimeters and to include male and female birds, and we just built up the table just by asking it to refine those solutions. Another one I sometimes do is create a five question quiz about the information that it's provided, or I can provide a link to a YouTube clip or to a website and ask for a quiz based on that. So there's lots of ways that I can use this information. AI can make mistakes. As we've said, it's not intelligent. It is just all based on kind of a probabilistic model. So it's looking at all the data that's out there, and it's making predictions about what might make sense based on the information that it has access to. It doesn't know, it can't check itself. So we need to use our expertise and judgment. We want to double check facts and sources. And there's also a thumbs up and a thumbs down button that you can click if it's got something right or good. and you can report something that might look inaccurate or biased and those sorts of things. Now, this is what we're going to use today, Bing Chat Enterprise. So this is similar to what you have in the usual Bing search, but if you log on with your education account, so as far as I know at the moment, this is available to all Department of Education staff and all Catholic education staff and most independent schools in WA. You just need to go to bing.com, sign in with your school ID, and you get access to a kind of really secure version of Bing Chat and access to ChatGPT 4 and DALL-E version 3, so the latest version there as well. So anything you search just comes from your school domain, so it doesn't know the individual user that's searching. Anything you type is not saved. Any content that's generated is not saved. So you would need to export anything that's generated for you. It's not used to train it's not used to train itself or other large language models. That's something that has been in the news I've seen this week with other platforms. Sometimes people have uploaded an essay or an article or a resume and then found that that's being used to train the AI, and people are getting access to their content, obviously anonymized, but it's still not a great thing if you're not sure what you're doing. But here we know that nothing is taken away and nothing is saved. So you're pretty secure there. And down the bottom there, no one at Microsoft can view your data. So it's very secure and very private as well. So they're the benefits. So how can you access Bing Chat? I've already mentioned you can just go to bing.com/chat. There is what's called a Copilot sidebar on computers. So at the moment, this is if you're using the Edge browser, you get this little Copilot icon in the corner. I'll show you that in a moment. So you can kind of generate summaries of websites that you're on. You can create emails and those sorts of things. You can access the Bing app on mobile devices, but at the moment, it doesn't work with education accounts. So the best way to use Bing at the moment is for teachers and other people in schools and colleges is via the web. There's one more thing to know before we get into this. There's kind of 3 ways that you can chat with Bing. Creative, you would use that if you wanted to create, maybe you wanted to rewrite a poem with a different theme, or you wanted to create an image, or you wanted to combine 2 different kind of themes. You might want to combine a famous film with something that's happened recently in the local community. So if you want to combine things, creative is great. Precise is if you want to know facts and figures. So you want to list the most recent volcanic eruptions, or you want to find out who said a particular quotation. We're going to go into precise. I generally start with balanced, and if I get something strange, I'll switch to one of the other modes. But of course, if you do want to create any images or that sort of thing, you would be using creative. So that's really the background. What I'm going to do now is just go into Bing and kind of give you a tour around with a few examples. Okay. Just going into the Q&A, and I don't see any questions yet, so I'm gonna go straight on to the web here. Okay, here we go. Oh, there we go. So I've got a few websites open that I'm going to use later, and then I've gone to bing.com, bing.com, and I've clicked on chat. There we go. Bing Chat Enterprise, and you'll notice this big green shield in the corner. You'll only see that if you're logged on with an education or a business account. So it's the same for businesses and government departments and so on that are using Microsoft. So that means you're protected. All the things I mentioned earlier are safe for you. So you can get creative, balanced, precise. I'll start with balanced. And as it says here, ask me anything. So I'm actually going to just give you an example that I used last week. I wonder whether Nicola's on the call, because I did some Minecraft work in her classroom, but I wonder whether she knows that I got my lesson plan directly from Bing. So I just said here, create a lesson plan, 55 minutes on the solar system for year 5 students. I listed the SCARSA outcome, and I said the main activity should be in Minecraft. Thanks. I always say thanks. You never know. You never know if Bing is going to be your boss one day. So I always like to be polite. So I've just asked this question in balanced mode. And what Bing's doing now, it's looking at all the things that I've mentioned. So it's going to find out what that SCARSA outcome is. It's going to find out what Minecraft is and the types of things you can do in Minecraft. And here it goes. So it's found some learning outcomes. It's found the SCARSA outcome. It tells me the materials I need, and it's come up with a lesson sequence. Now, what's really interesting here is when I did this last week, I got a totally different answer. And that's something you'll find unless you're on Precise and you're asking really specific questions. If I thought this was great and I wanted to come back to this tomorrow, I would get a different lesson plan, because there's so much information and data out there that it's always going to compose something new. So let's have a look. I need Minecraft Education Edition. I'm going to ask students what they know about the solar system. I'm going to look at a map. Then the students are going to work in groups and explore Minecraft in solar system in Minecraft. What we looked at last week, they were actually building planets in Minecraft. So I could then write a follow-up question. So here, how do I get the Minecraft solar system map? Can you suggest any other activities for teaching about space? I might say, how could I use Lego in this lesson? So I might just be thinking of things and just suggesting them. Or maybe I've got a student who struggles with reading English. So I can say, what could I do to make this easier for students with lower level English scores ability? And here you can see, how can I use Lego in this lesson? And it started coming up with some suggestions. So that's just a simple way about having a chat with Bing. It's just like searching, but you're actually getting kind of plain English responses, and you can chat and refine. The other thing that's worth knowing is you do have this button here that says new topic. So what I always suggest is if you're changing the topic, always click new topic. Otherwise you get some weird results. So I've just been talking about Minecraft and Lego. Perhaps I've got a legal question about my upcoming leave entitlements. If I start asking that now, it might try and link that to Minecraft and Lego. So I'm going to go to new topic. And then I can just write my next question. So I want to now, I want to create a PowerPoint presentation. And at the moment, we haven't got those automatic skills where it will build a PowerPoint presentation for me. But I've just written here, please can you generate a text-based PowerPoint presentation about Australian levels of government? Please include 5 slides and make it suitable for 11 to 12-year-olds. So what this is doing, it's going to go and find out about Australian levels of government. It knows that I want to keep it quite simple, just 5 slides. And here it's showing me what there's going to be on each slide. So I could then put this into a PowerPoint outline, or I could just copy and paste. Or I might want to ask, can you create some images that are relevant, or can you give some examples and those sorts of things. So I can refine that further. Oh, it's even suggested that there. Can you add some images to the presentation? What are some examples of federal government responsibilities? So I can just refine that question. Where I find it really useful, actually, is when you want to be a bit more creative. So, for example, you can actually ask Bing to create characters to fit a certain narrative, or you can combine different kind of genres. So let me just give you a really simple example here. You are an Australian soldier on the Gallipoli Peninsula. You've just landed on the beach. What's your name? What do you see? What are your feelings? Make sure this supports Year 8 students to learn about the Gallipoli campaign. So here we're actually asking Bing quite a few things. It's going to find what might be a suitable name for a soldier at that time. It's going to look at some first person accounts. So we've got Richard James Magua. Don't know how I've pronounced that. They found a battalion. We've just landed. As I jump off the boat, I see a narrow strip of sand surrounded by steep cliffs and ridges. So this has not come from one particular place, and this person is probably not real. But what it's doing is it's combining news reports, diary entries, and trying to come up with a bit of a story and explaining what the feelings might be of a typical soldier at that time. I can then change that, so I could add follow-up questions and say I'd like to change it to something else, or maybe I want to find out more about his family and what are his parents and brothers and sisters feeling, and that sort of thing. So it's coming up from here. We've got 13 different places where it's got that information from, but it's kind of mashed it all together and come up with an appropriate response. And again, you can ask follow-up questions. Another one, I actually saw a teacher do this earlier this year, and I thought it was quite fun. I'm not a biology teacher at all, so I don't know how accurate this is going to be, but I've just asked, I'm teaching cells to year 7 class, and I've said, you're a team of Marvel superheroes that are parts of the cell in the body. Describe each in turn and what you are amazing at. After you've done that, create a battle scene. And not only am I not an expert on biology, I've only seen a few Marvel films. But what we're doing here is it's picked up characters from the Marvel universe, and it's turned them into different cells. And then it's going to kind of see how they work together in a battle scene. So you can see that's quite a creative response. I can obviously do that in different ways. I can perhaps look at different topics and compare them to animals or historical characters and all of that sort of thing. But this is quite a cool way of using this. Oh, Thor's busy. Thor's rushing to the scene now. I think what I might do is, right, can you just make this a little bit shorter for me? But anyway, it's copying all that. Sorry, it's writing all this out. But what it's not doing is saving that. So it generates this once, it's one off. If I want to get this again, I won't be able to. So I do need to save or export myself. Bing won't save these if we're logged on with an education account. So I'm just going to, this is a really long battle scene. Okay, I'm going to stop responding there. But what you'll find is when you have responded, you'll get a little export and download button in the corner. But I interrupted Bing mid-flow. I think he was writing a whole film for me there, a whole movie. Anyway, there we go. So I'm going to go back to a new topic. What it also does is refer back to websites. So if I was looking at this website earlier today. This is a course about AI. So I can just copy this website address. I can come into here and I can say, what are 3 benefits of doing this course? So rather than read it all, someone's recommended something to me. I'm just asking, what are the 3 benefits? I've said odd doing this course, but I think Bing should be able to pick up that I mean of. So it goes and just kind of scans that website, finds out what it's all about, and then it gives me the benefits. So I think that's pretty cool. It does that really well with big. You can do that with long web pages and those sorts of things. It will also go off and find things for you. So, for example, just before I do that, you'll see there you've got the thumbs up, thumbs down, copy, export as Word, PDF or text. So anything that's created you can take away with you. It will also go off and find documents. So I've just said, what is the current conflict of interest policy and procedures for WA DOE, and can you summarize its main sections? So this actually exists on the Department of Education website, and Bing in the context knows that I'm talking about Western Australia and Department of Education. So it goes and finds that PDF document, reads it, summarizes it, and then I can ask questions about that. So it's really good at doing that sort of thing. It will also summarize YouTube clips and things like that. So I've got this YouTube clip that I want to watch. It's 1 hour and 8 minutes. I'm not going to watch all that. So I'm just going to copy the web address, go back to Bing and say, I'll start a new chat. What 3 amazing things will I learn? So Bing, actually, I haven't got 1 hour and 8 minutes. So Bing goes and watches that video in a couple of seconds and tells me 3 amazing things that I'll learn. So I might then go and read those. There we go. Here are 3 amazing things. How to use Minecraft to explore different biomes, how to observe natural phenomena such as volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, and how to design and build different structures. Wow. So really useful. It will summarize documents. It will summarize videos as well. Okay, I'm just going to show you this Copilot very quickly. So if you're using the Edge browser, you can open up the Copilot at any time with this button in the top right hand corner. And what's really nice about that is I can be on any website. So here I've just gone on the Solutions IT website and I can generate a page summary. So what it does is it will read that web page and tell me what it's all about. So that can be quite useful if you're on a blog and someone's written this really long article. It will summarize it for you, and then you can ask follow-up questions. If it's something that I'm going to use with students, I can say, create a 5-question multi-choice quiz to check understanding, something like that. But what I'm interested in here is it looks like Solutions IT do lots of great stuff for cloud services and device management. I'm going to say, do they work with schools? And because I've got the website open, it knows that I'm talking about this website, and it should be able to go and interrogate that website and find out what sort of things Solutions IT does with schools. Yes, they do. They provide various solutions for schools. They've worked with many schools. You can read some of their success stories on their website. Excellent. So I can chat about it there. What I can also do is open my own personal documents. They don't have to be online. So I'm going to just open up I think I've got one here. I'm just going to open up a PDF that I've got open on my desktop. So this is on my desktop. And I'm just going to say, generate a page summary. And it should be able to read that document. So I might have a report. I might have something that someone sent to me. I can generate a summary of that document without it being on the web. So that's a really great feature as well. And remember, because we're logged in with our education account, this is protected. Nothing gets sent to Microsoft. Nothing gets saved. So I might then ask, create a 5-question quiz for year 8 students based on this PDF. And it will create a 5-question quiz for year 8 students based on this PDF. So that's quite a useful tool as well. It doesn't have to be online documents. It can be offline content as well. You'll also notice it's creating a quiz for me there. I'm going to leave that for now. I'm going to stop responding. But you'll also see up here, we've got a compose button. And so what the compose button allows me to do is, I'm just going to check that I've got all my stuff open. What the compose button allows me to do is write a paragraph, an email, a report, bullet points about particular um, topics. So I might say, can you write an email to my boss saying, sorry, I'm late. Something happened with my breakfast and my dog. So I can choose the tone of it. So it might be professional if it's going to my boss. It might be funny if it's going to a friend, enthusiastic, succinct, casual. I'm just going to write a short email to my boss saying why I'm late. So I find this quite useful, particularly if I'm writing, I might be writing a formal email or responding to a concern someone has. I can write my content and it will rephrase it with a particular tone. So here we go. I've said email, casual, something happened with my breakfast and my dog. It's a long story, but I'll explain later. I hope you're not too mad. I'm on my way now and I'll be there as soon as possible. So you can make that funny, enthusiastic, professional. I might want to share this document with a colleague and share it in an enthusiastic way. I can do that. That's just a useful tool if you're busy reading something and you want to summarize it or share it with someone else. Just bring up the Copilot and you can get going with it. Excellent. What I want to do, just looking at the chat, it looks like Margaret's written rewritten one of Yeats's poems. So fantastic. Yeah, if you've created anything amazing while I'm chatting, do put it in the chat for us to look at later. I'm just going to show you one other thing it does. It works with images. So I found this really great image earlier. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to go to Bing Chat Enterprise and I'm going to click in the bottom there. There's a little camera icon, add an image. So I can paste that image in and I can say, what is this? Explain the different components. As I said before, I don't know why I'm choosing all these biology examples. I'm not a biologist, but maybe because they're colorful. So I've just said, what is this? Explain the different components. So Bing obviously has access to lots of images on the internet. It should be able to work out what I've sent it a picture of and be able to explain it. It's found a 3D illustration of an animal cell. It's talked about the cell membrane, the nucleus, and so on. So that's pretty good. It also says their faces may be blurred to protect privacy. So we might send a picture that's got someone's face in. It will just blur that and concentrate on what's in the background. So it's done well at a picture of a 3D image of a cell. You can also upload your own images. So I'm just going to upload one of my holiday snaps. There's me. So what building is this? I can spell. What building is this? I reckon some of you on the call will get it quicker than Bing, but I'm sure Bing will provide a lot more information as well if it can work out where I went on my holidays this year. There we go. The Sagrada Familia Basilica in Barcelona. I should have chosen something that I could actually pronounce. So there we go. It's done pretty well. So you can upload pictures. You might use it. Maybe you see someone with a fantastic pair of shoes when you're out shopping. Just take a photo of their shoes and ask Bing, where can I buy this in Western Australia? Now, I've done that with a sofa, one of my friend's sofa. I really liked it. So I sent a picture and I managed to find out where they bought it from, which is pretty cool. So fantastic there. What we're going to do now is have a look at trying to create some images. So we're actually going to create something new here. So with Bing Chat actually uses a tool called DALI in the background, which allows you to create different types of images. So I might, for example, let's think of something well, I'm dialing in from Perth today. So if I say create an image of the Perth skyline at sunset, it likes to know, it wants to know kind of how to do it. So I might just say watercolor. Create an image of the Perth skyline at sunset, watercolor. So it should be able to go and look at existing photographs and paintings of Perth. It knows what a watercolor is. So it should be able to create a brand new image for me of the Perth skyline at sunset using watercolors. So I've used this with students this week, actually. They were creating, I was doing a design thinking day, and the students were creating apps. And they were using Bing Chat to create the logos for their companies. So they just gave a little fact about what they wanted it to look like, and they had created some professional looking logos, which I think is pretty cool. Oh, so there we go. It's generated 4 different images for me there. It might have a strange idea about where the sun's setting, but you can refine it and tell it that the sun sets not where they think it sets, and so on. But that's pretty cool. And I might then refine that and say, now create this as a movie still in the style of Mad Max. So that will change that will keep the same kind of prompt, but create it in a brand new style. So it can be great for creating those quick creative things, but also if you want to create stickers or logos or posters. Oh, so it's telling me all about Mad Max while it's generating it for me. Fantastic. But really, anything you can imagine, give it a go. If you use the word create or draw, it will actually create that for you. So this is the placeholder that comes up while it generates. But as I said before, nothing gets saved. So you do need to export to there. Oh, look at that. That's quite a different image to before. Got someone in the, oh, that almost worked. We had someone in the foreground there as well. We can come back to that. So they would need to be saved if we wanted to use them. Maybe we want to create something a bit happier now. So maybe I want to start again. And I need to remind my students to wear their sun hats. So create a cartoon image of a smiling quokka on the school oval with an orange sun hat, smiling, thumbs up, cute. There we go. So now this might be something that I put on a poster to remind my students to wear their hat at recess, maybe. So I try and put in as much information as I can think of. Orange is our school colour. We want the quokka to be smiling to show they're happy about wearing their hat. We want a school oval, and we want a thumbs up. Let's see how well Bing created my image for me. Wrong button, sorry. Oh, there we go. Look at that. That's pretty cute. I like that. But what's interesting is that's what I did today. I just took a screenshot of what I did last week. So that's what I came up with last week. It was slightly different. So Yeah, it's interesting. It doesn't come up with exactly the same pictures every time. So I thought I'd just highlight that. So yeah, it works with, it follows patterns, but every time they're unique responses. And you should always say created by Bing if you're sharing that image somewhere else. And it also puts links to where it's got that information from. So I think it's a really powerful little tool, whether it's creating text or it's creating images. Bing Chat Enterprise is a really great little tool to be creative with. Like I said at the start, at the moment, this is just available for staff, not for students, but there are other tools that students can use. I want to finish really just by talking a little bit about examining the results you get. I've just quickly gone through a whole bunch of the tools. Everyone will come up with their own ways of using these tools that work for them. But I'm just going to point here a couple of things to be aware of. Precise, if you're looking for concise or correct information, read the references carefully. There is inaccurate information out there, and Bing, of course, like these other tools, is only as good as the information that it gets hold of. Ask it to summarize information rather than ask for open-ended questions, and rephrase in multiple ways to check the consistency. I found that sometimes just by rephrasing, I've got different answer. So how you question is as important as what you're looking for. And also look from different perspectives to see how the responses compare. So yeah, it's always good to kind of give a scenario to Bing. So say you are a year 10 science teacher, or you might say you are a field biologist working with a university, and then you might get slightly different responses depending on the persona that you have given to Bing for that session. So they're really the main things I wanted you just to be aware of there. That's all I wanted to share with you today. So thanks, Sarah, for putting this on. I'm just looking there. There's one question there from Olim. How to add Copilot on Edge? It's not coming up on mine. So you might just want to write in the chat what version of Edge you're using and what platform, and I'll try and have a look. Otherwise, thank you so much. I'm going to just hand over to Sarah to say goodbye. Thanks, everyone, for coming along.
Thank you very much. Like I mentioned earlier, this is one of many. We will be hosting more webinars next year. This will be the first and the last one for this year. And there'll be a mixture of webinars and face-to-face with Standout. So just keep an eye out. We'll be sending out more information next year. Thank you very much, Stephen, and thank you all for your time. The recording will be sent out to everybody later on this week. Thank you. Bye-bye.